Great. Here's a much longer, more detailed version of the topic outline for your video. Title: What if the Cold War had turned into World War III? A complete alternate history scenario for the Real History channel. 1. Introduction. The Cold War, a war without fighting. After World War II ended in 1945, the world didn't return to peace. Instead, a new kind of war began. The Cold War. It was a conflict without direct battles between the two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. The world was divided into two ideological blocs, the capitalist West and the communist East. Both sides built massive nuclear arsenals. They spied on each other. They supported wars in other countries, but somehow they avoided a direct war between them. But what if that hadn't happened? What if one mistake, one accident, or one decision had turned this Cold War into World War III? In this video, we will explore a terrifying and realistic alternate timeline, a world where the Cold War went hot. 2. The spark. How it could have started. The Cuban Missile Crisis, October 1962. This is the closest the world ever came to nuclear war. The Soviet Union placed nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from the US coast. The United States responded by blockading the island and demanding removal of the missiles. In real history, the crisis ended peacefully. But what if? A nervous Soviet submarine captain launched a nuclear torpedo. An American aircraft mistakenly bombed a Soviet base. Communication between Moscow and Washington failed. Any of these could have triggered World War III. Other possible sparks. A NATO military exercise mistaken as a real attack by the USSR. Soviet tanks rolling into West Berlin. A conflict between China and the USSR pulling other powers into war. A nuclear accident blamed on the enemy. 3. The war begins. World War III unleashed. In this alternate timeline, once the first bomb drops, there is no turning back. Europe, the first battleground Soviet tanks invade West Germany. NATO responds with overwhelming air power. Within hours, cities like Berlin, Warsaw, Frankfurt, and Paris are destroyed. Nuclear exchange. The United States launches missiles at Soviet cities, Moscow, Leningrad, Kiev. The USSR responds. New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles vanish in mushroom clouds. Within the first day, over 100 million people are dead. Asia, the Middle East and beyond China, already at odds with the USSR, may seize the opportunity. India and Pakistan may launch strikes against each other. Israel, Iran, and Arab nations could become nuclear flashpoints. Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan are devastated. Fourth nuclear winter. A deadly fallout. The environment collapses. Nuclear explosions send soot and ash into the sky. Sunlight is blocked for months. Temperatures drop worldwide. Crops fail. Famine spreads across every continent. Global health disaster radiation sickness kills millions more. Medical systems collapse. Viruses spread unchecked. Social breakdown, governments fall. Cities are looted. Survivors form small, armed communities. 5. Would humanity survive? Some might survive in bunkers, the ultra-rich, the prepared, or the lucky. But no electricity, no clean water, food supplies gone, air and soil contaminated. In this timeline, civilization itself ends. There may be survivors, but there is no organized society left. 6. The political consequences. No superpowers left. The United States and Soviet Union are reduced to ash. Europe is unrecognizable. China, if untouched, may emerge as a dominant force, but isolated. Africa, South America, and Australia may survive better, but isolated and under pressure. Would a new world order eventually emerge, or would humanity revert to the Stone Age? 7th alternate 21st century. A world without technology. If the Cold War had gone hot in the 1960s or 1980s, no internet revolution, no globalization, no smartphones, space exploration, or artificial intelligence, the world may not have recovered even by 2025. What kind of world would that be? divided into tribal regions, relying on primitive tools, myths about the old world passed down like legends. 8. Lessons for today. Why this matters now. Even today, thousands of nuclear weapons remain ready for launch. Russia and the United States still have massive stockpiles. New nuclear powers, North Korea, Iran, each can add to the danger. Conflicts over Ukraine, Taiwan, or the Middle East could once again push the world to the edge. Audience engagement. What do you think would have happened if the Cold War had turned into a hot war? Would your country have survived? Do you believe humanity would rebuild civilization or remain in chaos forever? 9th conclusion. The greatest war that never happened. The Cold War was a time of fear, but also of restraint. Leaders knew that if they pushed too far, the entire planet could be destroyed. In this alternate timeline, they failed, and humanity paid the ultimate price. But in our reality, they stepped back from the edge. Maybe the greatest achievement of the 20th century wasn't winning a war, but avoiding the worst war in human history.